Welcome back to the BW ID Talk podcast. We are your hosts, Jan and Wes. And today we want to talk to you about some of the interesting things they are doing with the new Polo and hopefully with all forthcoming cars from Volkswagen. They have listened finally to customers' feedback, and it seems like they've corrected some of the most frustrating problems. So, Jan, we have a lot of experience trying to correct these problems ourselves. What do you think we should start with here? Do you want to show them what is we looking at? What is this?
Yeah, so this is the new and beautiful sneak peek into the ID Polo design.
Okay,
and
so an electric Polo. Okay.
The electric Polo, that formerly known as ID.2.
Okay.
And we are expecting that some of these design principles will be carried over to the new ID.4 that is rumored as ID.1. So that's why we want to do a deep dive here to see, okay, so what has changed, what excites us, and where we have some reservations. And most importantly, you know us, because we would want to retrofit these parts into our existing ID.4s. And so, so far, it looks like a good news, but let's go in one by one.
This is our ID.4.
This is our ID.4, yeah.
Okay. And that is the regular switch that came with it. And you can see we have the capacitive touch, mirror controls, and the 2 window switches. And we also have there a cluster that combines the functions for light controls and just max and rear defrost, front and rear defrost. So we got a little bit of climate, a little bit of light there combined. Okay. And here on the steering wheel, we have our much maligned capacitive touch buttons. There's some good things about it, right? Being able to slide your finger up and down is useful. But we've documented our problems. You see the cluster there, we call the binnacle, but maybe you call it the instrument cluster or the driver's cluster, where you can get driving directions and speedometer. And then the infotainment screen, of course. This is Jan's 2021 ID.4, so it has the smaller 12-inch infotainment screen. And of course, the capacitive menu and climate control and start. Yeah.
And there are no controls on the center console, right?
Yeah, the console is completely for cups.
Let's go to the future. So what we see in the future is really what is exciting us. The proper count of window switches.
1, 2,
3, 4. What I am personally very excited about is the split of lock and unlock. So if you want to unlock, you just press the unlock. Why? Well, because when I open the car from the front door and I want to put something in the rear door, the rear door doesn't have the chassis reader. I'm kind of messing with the unlock button. You technically have to press the unlock button twice in our car, right? You have to do it slower. Anyway, so that's why this is really exciting.
Yeah. The other interesting thing, it's not obvious to tell from the photo, but Jan zoomed in here, that whole silver, the chrome trim at the top and those things along the side where the hand is moving, that's one big lever. So you grab with your hand and pull the whole doorknob up to open your door. So that's a nice innovation. And we spent a little bit of time looking up the parts. The mirror switch and the window switches are actually older VW parts from the pre-ID.4 days. And so they went back to what worked.
They went back to the old design, which makes sense. The only thing, if I would add something on my wish list, is that for those of us who have memory seats and massage seats, I wish they expose those buttons here on the side, because it is kind of awkward to find the massage or the memory. Now, when you know your car, easy. But if there's somebody, if you're driving somebody, they barely find it.
So you have to know it's there.
Exactly. You have to know it's there, and you have to know which button it is, right, as well. Is it the first one? Is it the one on the front or at the back? Anyway, so I wish that they did the Audi-like for the ID.1 or new ID.4 and add this here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are excited about the door for sure. How about the light switch here?
Yeah. So the first thing I noticed there is it is only light functions. It's a light cluster now and not light incline. So what Jan's holding there, you see the max front and rear defrost. This, as far as we can tell, is just a capacitive switch.
Could be, but
it could,
there could be some haptic feedback inside, because you see this rim inside. So potentially that's the physical insulation so that it could vibrate inside, but we don't know if it does. And if it doesn't, it's okay. I think that the fact that they have removed the AC controls and made it a dedicated light switch is a big step forward. But that's coming again.
Well, it also looks like it's indentations there, so you can feel rear versus front.
But at that point, when you feel it, you already pressed it, because it's already. Anyway, so maybe they've learned. Maybe there are some pressure sensitive. We'll see how it's implemented, because on our, for example, the reason why we are talking about pressure sensitive, this is the button for our our steering wheel, and yes, there is a tiny little play here, but inside there are pressure sensitive contacts. So the control and the software actually physically knows how hard you pressed it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we shall see.
Okay, and the next thing, whoa, you can already see there.
I am so excited.
Yes, a long time coming, but pretty much we see real physical buttons here on the steering wheel controls, and they're pretty much the same layout we're used to from our ID.4. This particular set of switches on the left, that is for standard cruise control. This button set does not support travel assist. You can see it just says mode and cancel.
So it would be something similar what we have today, like that. This is the current one. The only thing that when you see that the volume is like well separated from the rest, right? So I wish that there is enough indentation so you can feel with your thumb the different buttons. Right?
Yeah.
Because what's happening to me that sometimes instead of set, I'll press the mode button on the physical controls, but maybe there's this like small notch on the set button. Something what we have on your keyboard. If you're watching us from your computer, take a look at your keyboard. On your key F and J, there's this small notch that helps you to align your fingers. So I hope something like that was on the set and potentially reset button as well. So.
Yeah, and you can see they've gone with the square. I don't know if I care for the square aesthetic as much, but they're trying to be retro with this. And you know what? It's going to work great, and that's what we're most happy about.
Exactly. So the retro benefit, I think, is that all the buttons have almost the same size, right? Like because these like T-shaped or triangle shaped buttons, some of the buttons were smaller than others, and so maybe that's why they want to make sure that the surface is bigger. I don't know. That's
a good idea. But, okay, and of course the right hand side is pretty much the exact same thing as ours, except the heated steering wheel button has been moved down a little bit.
Yeah, which I think makes sense.
Yeah. Well, most of the pre-2024 ID.4s don't have a heated steering wheel button at all.
Yeah, I didn't have that button.
Yeah,
I didn't either. If you switch those controls, and you have heated steering wheel, it will start work. The only problem is that for the retrofit is that it won't be reflected on your binnacle, but that's a coding issue. Okay, so we are excited about that. The levers seem to be carry over from the newer ID.4s, right?
Yeah.
Or ID Buzz, and then the screen that's brand new. This one is much bigger,
and it's all digital, right?
It's all digital. Yes, it looks like needles, but no needles. This is just a digital emulation of Mk1 Golf. GTI.
Some people are scared of needles, so that's good.
I know. Yes.
No, so this is all digital. So this is a theme they've applied that looks retro and boxy, but you can apply, modern themes. You can make it look like a spaceship if you want. They're trying to make this look like an older GTI. And you can see Jan had to explain to me first what the right-hand side there is the power gauge, kind of like our bar currently, where when you're in the blue, you're using power. And when you go down into the green, you're regenerating power from regenerative braking. So it's interesting. I'm not sure how useful it is, but it's like a tachometer. It looks cool, right?
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, exactly. And so I hope that there will be some useful, more useful pictures or graphics, like for example map. So the navigation would be awesome to have here, right? So that's all I care about. And of course this car probably doesn't have head-up display, and I'm not sure what the future of head-up display would be in the new ID.4, because the current implementation is quite nice, but they could do more, right? They show you even turn-by-turn navigation, which is like AR, so it's kind of superimposed on the road where you're driving. So those experiences could be nice. And then in my mind, like if you have head-up display, you probably don't need such a rich instruments here, but I guess it's a choice. So yeah, so excited about this portion as well.
Right. The biggest thing I see next, the infotainment screen. No longer, it's the larger infotainment screen, but it no longer has the beveled bottom where we had the climate sliders and the volume sliders.
So no more sliders.
Right. And you can see the climate, just like software version 4, ID.4s and ID Buzz, ID.7, you've got those fixed placement seat heat climate buttons along the bottom. And the reason there's no sliders is because we can look down below and see something that looks familiar from the episodes Jan and I have done on our Skoda. So the ENIAC and the Elrock. Look at this. So this is Jan's beautiful retrofit of the Skoda buttons into his ID.4, and it still makes me smile every time I see this because of how good your 3D print looks. But you can see that this button combines the climate, the max defrost, rear defrost, with the buttons that we have below. Those 4 buttons are the same as we have on our capacitive cluster there. The park assist, the mode, the assist, and the emergency, and has that lock button there. So they have changed it in this Polo to be just dedicated to climate functions.
Yeah, which I think it's okay. It makes sense. And also, if you notice, then the side buttons here are for temperature, so they likely would be swappable up and down. So you can press it up and press it down as well, and the same for the blower motor. So this was a big feedback, that if you want to change the amount of air that the car is blowing, you had to go to the menu and then fiddle with the slider. But here there is a dedicated button.
Yeah, I think most people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jan.
No, I just wanted to say that what this bar does not have is the lock or unlock button.
Yeah, but it doesn't need it because we now have that dedicated on the door, right? So you don't really.
The only challenge is that when we looked at the passenger door, there is only the window switch, not lock switch. So technically, the passenger cannot lock the car. So if they get into the car on the parking lot and they want to lock it, they won't be able to, other than kind of leaning over and pressing the lock button here.
Yeah, unless there's a hidden one somewhere. All I was going to say about the climate controls is I think many people still prefer my 2004 Passat and my 2000 Golf had a large dials for temperature and for fan. It's easy to do, but this is still a big improvement. And honestly, the Climatronic is so good that usually I have it. I don't mess with it. Right, I leave it set at 70 or 68.
I agree. Yeah. So, same here. So I think, again, this is a big improvement. There's one thing that I really like, and the one thing that I have reservations about. And so this layout is very close to what is there today on the Skoda Elroq and Enyaq, where there is this big surface below the touchscreen. So you can, when you're touching something on the screen, you can rest your hand and touch. So if you're riding on a bumpy road, it stabilizes your hand. And it's a big improvement because you can very precisely press the surface that you need. But what it also means, it means that these buttons are moved below the air vents, and so why would that matter? Well, over time, probably it's okay. But if you, for example, want to adjust temperature, you'll press this up or down, and then you would need to look up here on the final temperature that was adjusted. Well, maybe they can give you this preview on the binnacle, that there's so many ways how they can make it easier. So
I guess the best was if you don't have to look at the button at all, you can just look at the screen while you press the button.
Exactly.
Helpful. So that's a great point you made about that bar, Jan, because that's something, having not driven the Elroq, I wouldn't have thought about that. But you definitely think about it when you're trying to press the button.
You definitely do. Yes.
Okay.
And that's not all. There is something more in the middle console.
Okay.
And this looks to be like a combination of volume, track, and mute buttons. So you can turn it, you can slide it side to side to change tracks, and you can potentially even press it to mute the radio, which kind of is okay. But I don't know, what do you think about it being on the middle console, right?
Yeah,
like this?
I love that it's in the car.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't really love that it's in the center console because I feel like that's a waste of space.
Yes, agree.
You've got your cup holders there, and now it's just less space you can use for something else.
Yeah,
but
and by the way, please subscribe. We are playing with the Tiguan button, and we are going to retrofit it in our ID.4s. So you see that it already booted up in German. That was exciting. So subscribe so you learn our progress in retrofitting this control into the ID.4.
That's a big button, but it sure looks cool.
Yes. So overall, very excited about these changes, and can't wait to see how the preview, how these parts, how these new design language and the touch surface and the physical button surfaces will be carried over to the new ID.4 or the ID Tiguan, as it's rumored. So
maybe what we can retrofit into older ID.4s. So.
And we definitely can. So we definitely can retrofit the buttons. The steering wheel would be a little challenging. The display won't be retrofittable because you would need to change your ICAS 3. That's another problem. Retrofitting these buttons would be relatively easy. It either might work directly, or we might need to create some interface, the same thing that we would need to build for this, so that it kind of translates what the buttons say to something that the car understands. And then the same applies to this small volume knob. So there are a couple things that could be retrofittable, and we are excited about that. New challenges.
Excellent.
Thank you, VW, for doing a great job. And please subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
Great. Thanks, everyone.